I want you to picture a car driving down the highway at 60 miles per hour. Now, try to imagine that same car driving in reverse ... At the exact same time ... It sounds physically impossible, right? The laws of physics dictate that an object cannot move in two opposing directions simultaneously ... in the fitness world. This is the dogma we have been spoon-fed for decades. You cannot build muscle and lose fat at the same time. They tell you that you must choose a lane. You either bulk, caloric surplus, to build muscle, but you have to accept getting fat. Or you cut caloric deficit to lose fat, but you have to accept losing muscle and strength. This binary thinking is the car fallacy, and it has trapped millions of lifters in a miserable cycle of getting fat, then starving themselves, and ending up looking exactly the same year after year. I am here to tell you that your body is not a car. It is a complex, adaptive biological system capable of metabolic multitasking. Body recomposition, the act of synthesizing new contractile tissue while oxidizing adipose tissue, is not a myth. It is not magic. And it is not just for genetic freaks on performance-enhancing drugs. It is a specific, scientifically proven physiological state that anyone can achieve. If they understand the metabolic math, if you are tired of the bulking and cutting roller coaster, if you want to look in the mirror in 6 months and see a person who is both bigger and leaner, you need to stop listening to bro science and start listening to thermodynamics. Today, we are going to dismantle the old rules. I am going to teach you the energy partitioning equation. I am going to show you how to manipulate insulin sensitivity to direct calories away from fat cells and into muscle tissue. And I'm going to give you the precise nutritional, training, and supplementation blueprint to achieve the Holy Grail of fitness. Welcome back to the lab. I'm Dr. Aris Thorne, and this is Strength Unleashed. Let's defy physics. Let's start with the science. Why do the gurus say it's impossible? They cite the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. To build muscle tissue, anabolic, you need energy. You need a surplus. To burn fat tissue, catabolic, you need a lack of energy. You need a deficit. So how can you do both? Here is the secret they ignore. Your fat stores air energy. When you carry 20 pounds of body fat, you are carrying roughly 70,000 calories of stored potential energy. That is a massive fuel tank strapped to your waist. The Recomp works by creating a metabolic environment where your body pulls energy from two different sources simultaneously to solve the equation. For muscle growth, it uses the protein you eat and the stored energy released from your fat cells to fuel the expensive process of protein synthesis for fat loss. It oxidizes that stored adipose tissue to make up for the caloric deficit in your diet. It is not magic. It is nutrient partitioning. Think of your body as having two bank accounts, a muscle account and a fat account. Most people deposit into both, bulking, or withdraw from both, cutting. Recomposition is simply transferring funds. You are withdrawing cash from the fat account to pay for the construction costs in the muscle account, the partitioning ratio. This is the scientific term for where your body sends incoming calories. High peer ratio. When you eat, calories go to muscle repair and glycogen storage. When you diet, you burn fat. This is the goal, low peer ratio. When you eat, calories go to fat storage. When you diet, you burn muscle. This is the nightmare. The entire goal of this masterclass is to manipulate your peer ratio. We want to force your body to become a muscle-building, fat-burning machine. And we do that through 3 levers: stimulus, insulin sensitivity, and nitrogen balance. Now I have to be honest. Recomposition is not equally easy for everyone. The rate at which you can transfer funds depends on your training age and your body fat percentage. There are 4 populations who are prime candidates for the Holy Grail. Candidate 1. The beginner, the newbie gains effect. If you have been lifting seriously for less than 12 months, you are in the golden era. Your body is so sensitive to the novel stimulus of lifting weights that it will prioritize muscle growth over everything. You can eat a terrible diet, sleep 5 hours a night, and still recomp. But if you dial it in with this protocol, your results will be explosive. Candidate 2, the detrained lifter, muscle memory, you used to be fit. Then life happened. You took 2 years off. You got soft. Good news. You have myonuclei. When you built muscle in the past, you added nuclei to your muscle fibers. Those nuclei never leave. They just go dormant. When you start training again, you don't have to build the factory from scratch. You just have to turn the lights on. You will regain muscle and burn fat at a rate that seems unfair to everyone else. Candidate 3. The skinny fat, or high body fat. Individual if you are carrying significant body fat. Over 20% for men. Over 30% for women. You have a massive energy reserve. Your body is happy to burn fat because it has plenty of it. You can eat in a fairly aggressive deficit and still build muscle because your fat bank account is overflowing with funds to pay for the construction. Candidate 4, the optimized. Intermediate, this is the controversial one. People say you can't recomp if you're advanced. That is false. It is just slower if you are an intermediate who has been training with consistency, okay diet, and average sleep. And then you suddenly switch to a scientifically optimized program, like the one we are building today. The sudden increase in stimulus quality and protein efficiency will trigger a recomp effect. You are essentially shocking the system into a new adaptation who cannot recomp. The lean advanced natural. If you are already 8% body fat and bench pressing 315 pounds, you do not have the energy reserves, fat to fuel growth in a deficit. You must use traditional bulking phases. But for 90% of you watching this, recomp is on the table. This is where the rubber meets the road. How do you eat to starve fat but feed muscle? Step 1. The Goldilocks deficit. You cannot recomp in a massive crash diet. If you cut calories by 1,000, your body goes into metabolic adaptation. It shuts down anabolic processes to save energy. We need a slight deficit. Find your maintenance calories, TDEE, subtract 200 to 300 calories. That's it. This small deficit is enough to signal fat loss over time, but not enough to trigger the hormonal alarm bells, low leptin, high cortisol, that stop muscle growth. Step 2. Protein is the key. In a recomp, protein is not just a nutrient. It is a drug. It is the signal that protects muscle tissue. You need more protein in a recomp than you do in a bulk. Why? Because protein acts as an inefficient energy source. We want to force the body to burn fat for fuel, not amino acids. The rule, 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. If you weigh 180 pounds, you are eating 180 grams to 215 grams of protein every single day. This puts you in positive nitrogen balance. The biochemical state required for growth. Step 3. Advanced carb cycling, the insulin hack. This is the pro-level tactic. We match our energy intake to our output. High days, training days, eat at maintenance calories. Keep carbs high, 50% of calories. Focus these carbs around the workout. This fuels the session and spikes insulin when you need it. Post-workout. To drive nutrients into the muscle. Low days, rest days, eat at a 400 to 500 calorie deficit. Drop carbs significantly. Increase fats slightly. The result: on training days you are bulking, fueling growth. On rest days you are cutting, burning fat. Over the week you are in a net deficit, but your muscles never starved. Step 4. Hunger management. Training hard in a deficit triggers hunger. If you don't manage it, you will binge. Food volume. Eat low-calorie density foods. Massive salads, fibrous vegetables, potatoes, highest satiety index. Hydration. Drink 500 milliliters of water before every meal. Caffeine. Use it strategically in the morning to blunt appetite. You cannot recomp with cardio. Cardio signals the body to become efficient and light. We want to become inefficient and muscular, the hypertrophy requirement, to convince your body to build muscle in an energy deficit. The signal must be deafeningly loud. You cannot just go through the motions. You need high-tension progressive overload, the training split. You need frequency. Hitting a muscle once a week, bro split, is not enough signal to override the calorie deficit. Recommendation: upper-lower split, 4 days, or push-pull legs, 6 days. Frequency: hit every muscle group roughly every 48 to 72 hours. The volume versus intensity debate. In a deficit, your recovery capacity is slightly compromised. Therefore, we cannot do endless junk volume, sets of 20 with light weight. We must prioritize intensity, train close to failure, RPE 8 to 9, focus on compound movements, squats, deadlifts, presses, to recruit the maximum amount of muscle mass. Rest periods, take longer rests, 2 to 3 minutes. We want performance, not a sweat session. If you turn your lifting into cardio, you lose the mechanical tension stimulus required to build tissue. Supplementation for Recomp. Supplements are the final 5%. But in a Recomp, they help. Creatine monohydrate, 5 grams per day, non-negotiable. Helps maintain strength in a deficit. Caffeine, pre-workout. Increases fat oxidation and training intensity. Beta-alanine. Buffers acidity. Helps you squeeze out extra reps. Whey isolate, purely for hitting that high-protein target without extra fat, carb, calories. Do you have the diet? You have the training. But you can still fail. Why? When you are in a calorie deficit, your body perceives a mild threat. Cortisol, stress hormone, rises. Cortisol is the anti-recomp hormone. It does 2 terrible things. It breaks down muscle tissue, catabolic. It creates insulin resistance, making it harder to burn fat and easier to store it, especially belly fat. Sleep is when the partitioning happens. Growth hormone peaks during deep sleep. This hormone specifically tells the body, burn fat, preserve muscle. If you cut sleep, you cut your GH pulse. You shift your pair ratio towards fat storage and muscle loss. The protocol: 7 to 9 hours of sleep, non-negotiable. Troubleshooting the stall. What if the scale stops moving and you don't look different? Check adherence. Are you actually hitting the protein and calorie targets, or are you eyeballing it? Track everything for 3 days. Check steps. Did your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, drop? When we diet, we unconsciously move less. Force 10,000 steps a day. The refeed. If you have been dieting for 12 weeks, take a diet break. Eat at maintenance for 1 week to reset hormones, leptin, thyroid, and drop cortisol. Then go back to the deficit. Let's bring this home. The Holy Grail exists. But it is not a pill. It is a process of extreme precision. It requires you to walk the razor's edge between enough energy to grow and not enough energy to store fat. You now have the blueprint. Calories, slight deficit, 200 to 300, or carb cycling. Protein, high, 1 g plus per pound. Training, high intensity. Progressive overload. Sleep, non-negotiable. Mindset, patience. Ignore the scale. Trust the mirror. Stop swinging back and forth between fat and strong and skinny and weak. Walk the middle path. Build the body you want while living the life you want. If this masterclass changed your perspective on dieting, if you are ready to stop the yo-yo cycle, do 2 things. First, subscribe. We are dismantling the bro science industry 1 video at a time. Second, go to the comments. I want to know, which candidate are you? Are you the beginner, the detrained, the skinny fat, or the intermediate? Identify yourself and let's get to work. I'm Dr. Aris Thorne. This is Strength Unleashed. Go defy physics.